Well, hello, all you wonderful people. Welcome to another episode of Friday Night Chill with Will. This is episode 20, the last episode of 2023. Yeah, last time you saw me was like a couple days before Halloween. So yeah, it's been a minute. I was originally only planning to take a couple weeks off, and then that turned into a month. And in all that time, I grew a beard, so that's cool. I've been attempting that, and that's been a thing I've been doing. And I can surprisingly grow one. I didn't think I could, really, because I have like this little annoying bald spot. But anyway, I hope you've all been doing well. I've been doing okay. I've been hanging in there. Just been, I don't know, just I guess winding down for the year, because this is a weird time of year where like time feels simultaneously like it's stopped, but also it's moving like super fast. It's really weird because I feel like the work days move very slowly, especially this week. This is the week before Christmas. So if you're listening to this episode, well, speaking of, this is a new pre-recorded episode. I'm pre-recording this so that way you guys can just listen to stuff and I already know what I'm talking about. I don't have to, come up with stuff on the fly live in front of a studio audience and then just sit there and be be silent. So yeah, this is how we're doing the show now, and I think it'll be better for the show. So yeah, I'm filming this the Monday before you're seeing this. So it's the 18th now. So, so a week away from Christmas, which sounds weird because it's weird that Christmas is on a Monday this year. But yeah, so it's that week before Christmas where everyone is just kind of checked out from work. If you work in like the corporate realm, you're going to be getting a bunch of out-of-office emails or something, or you're going to be getting something like, oh, we'll circle back on this in January or whatever, things of that nature. So everyone's pretty much already checked out for the next couple weeks until the new year comes around. So yeah, everyone's just kind of like given like 25%, we'll say. So yeah, it's just a weird time of year, and it's just, I don't know. The holidays have gotten kind of weird ever since the pandemic, and they don't, I don't know, they just don't feel, it doesn't feel right, especially with the state of affairs just in the world with things happening right now. I don't know. Like, I know it's like a time of year where we're all supposed to just kind of like be grateful and appreciative of like what we have and, and not take for granted certain things. But at the same time, it's just hard to do that. Just the past couple years, and especially this year, just with what we're seeing. So it's just been kind of a weird season personally. I used to be a pretty festive Christmas person, but it's just gotten harder, kind of as the years have gone. And I also have my sister living with me too now, so it's like I don't have as much space as I used to kind of like decorate and stuff, because I don't want to be cluttering up stuff, during the holidays. But it's fine. I try to be mindful that people use this time of year to kind of like escape and kind of like get into like a happier space. And I can totally empathize with that. But I think a lot of times when people do that, they kind of forget that this time of year can be very hard for people, just because of the familial element of it all. Not everyone has a fantastic relationship, with their family, or at least their, their biological family, with like, their relatives or parents or things of that nature. So they kind of, not everyone's experience is like that. And so the holidays can be pretty tough for people. And I get that. I don't think I have a terrible relationship with either of my parents. But I think they could stand to be better, and they just kind of are not helped during this time of year. They just feel weird during this time of year. But we're chugging along, we're pushing through, we're gonna have a good time regardless. I don't think I have really very many Christmas plans. I think I'm supposed to be seeing my dad and stepmom. I'm gonna go over to their house, I think Christmas Day, and we're probably just gonna do like dinner and presents and stuff like that. And Colin is supposed to be flying back here from Maryland for, I think, a week. I think he's gonna be here, so we're gonna hang out at some point, so that'd be cool. I haven't seen him since he left for school. So yeah, no real plans there, but yeah, I think it's, I've been having a good time, since the last time you guys saw me. The last time you guys saw me was the Britney book, which I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. That was kind of fun to talk about that. I wish I could have talked about it a little bit more in depth than I did, but whatever, it is what it is. What have I done since then? Thanksgiving happened. That was neat. When I just went to my dad's for that, and my birthday happened. I turned 31, so that's fun. I decided to just kind of well out and go on vacation. So the weekend, because my birthday was on a Saturday, it was on the 2nd. So we went to San Diego for the weekend, and we saw Mateo Lane. It was my first stand-up show that I had ever bought tickets for. So he was the first comedian I'd ever bought tickets for. And that was a really fun show. He's so fucking funny, and he had some of his friends open up for him. A couple of them, or one of them I remember seeing on TikTok, and then a couple I hadn't ever seen before, but they were all funny. We did have a heckler in the crowd, so that was kind of fucking annoying. It's you could tell he was kind of drunk, and everyone was being pretty gracious with him. I think they were a little too gracious, if you ask me, because I think I would have just kicked him out. But I don't know. He was saying really dumb stuff. But that's what hecklers do. So yeah, we stayed over in San Diego for Saturday night, basically, and then Sunday we just kind of went around the marina. We got some breakfast at the hotel, and we were by the marina, and they had shops and stuff. They even had a little farmer's market going on. So I got a bracelet. Do I have the bracelet right here in front of me? I do. I have it right here. I have it in a little bag. Bear with me with the sounds, because I know you can hear it. But yeah, I got this thing. It's obsidian. Yeah, it's obsidian. It was a man and his wife. They make jewelry and stuff. So that was cool. And it's supposed to absorb negative energy. So I'm not really a big stone crystal person, but you know what? At this age, I'll take what I can get. If that is absorbing negative energy, then I'll take my chances, So I got that. I got this stuff that's actually right here. It's this lotion bar, and I've never actually seen this before. So it's it looks like a giant chapstick thing, and you push it up. This is compostable packaging, so it's cardboard, and so you push it up, and it's a little bar type of thing, and so it's lotion. So if you just want to put it on your hand, you rub it right here. And as you rub it, it like melts onto your hand. So now you have like a little bit of lotion, and it doesn't feel like super greasy, and like a little actually goes a long way. So that's cool. And I think we got some like incense or something. I don't know. It was like a farmer's market, so they had all kinds of like nonsensical little things. So that was fun. And that was kind of a nice way to end that trip. I also went to Book Off while we were there. It's like a big, I guess, anime type of store, anime and manga. And it's like you can bring in stuff, like if you have like anime or movies or stuff like that, you can sell it there and they'll resell it. So it's kind of like a thrift store type of thing, but I don't know. It's pretty cool. They had some like Ranger and Toku stuff, very minimal, but they still had some, so that was neat. It was a fun little trip. It was just like a couple days. We were there Saturday for the show, and then we hung around Sunday and went back home, because the following Monday, the next day, I decided to book a trip to Vegas, or book a hotel in Vegas and drive there. And so drove there, and despite being 31, I had actually never stayed in Vegas overnight. I had only ever driven through the city before this past week. So, this past week or the week before? Was it the past? No, that would have been like a couple weeks ago already. Yeah, see, like time, what does time even mean? So we went to Vegas for the first time. Stayed at the Rio, just because it was cheap. Honestly, I wasn't really I'm not too particular in general about like hotels, because frankly I've stayed in some very sketchy places before. So if they're not as sketchy as that, I really don't mind. But it worked out kind of cool. They're redoing the entire hotel right now. They're like updating it and modernizing it. That's what like a lot of hotels in Vegas are doing. That's what I noticed during my entire trip, honestly. But they hooked it up. They gave us one of the new remodeled rooms, so that was neat. It was very nice. It was a little bit like a kind of modern, but kind of mid-century modern type of thing. I don't know. It was neat. It was cool. One of the nicer hotels I've ever stayed in. And we were there for the week. Maybe it was a long time. I don't know. I just had never been, and frankly, I took the entire week off from work, so I just kind of wanted a reason to not be at home. So I just booked it for the whole week. I'm just like, we'll just chill out here, enjoy the time away, have a change of scenery, and just enjoy that. And it was fun. We went all up and down the strip, just checking out different things going on in different hotels and casinos and all that. Gambled a little bit. Didn't really make money, but we didn't lose too much either, so that's good. But yeah, we checked out, what was it called? Area 15. And they had the Omega Mart, which I'm sure if you guys are on TikTok or anything like that, you've seen ads for it or videos about it. Super cool experience. Highly recommend if you've never been. It is a little steep, I think, for the experience, but it was a fun time. It killed a couple hours probably to get through the entire thing. And it was a fun time. I actually kind of wish we would have saved up a little bit more money, so that way we could check out some of the other attractions in Area 15, because Omega Mart is just a part of Area 15. They have like 2 or 3 more big like attractions there. So that was a super fun time. Also, while we were in Vegas, we met up with Cosmic Ranger, because he lives out there. So we caught him while he was at work and got to see him. So that was like super cool. It was super nice to meet him in person and talk to him. It's always fun being able to meet Ranger fans in person for the first time, especially after you've talked to some of them for a really long time. So that was cool, man. We were there, like I said, we were there for the week. We checked out various things here and there. We went to Container Park, which is like a shopping center made out of old shipping containers, which was pretty cool. And from there, we met a little shopkeeper, and she, gave us like a couple little places to check out that weren't on the Strip, that were just kind of in downtown Vegas, like the Arts District, and this little, I think it was called Ferguson. It was like another little shopping center with like a coffee place in the middle. And yeah, we checked out those couple places. That was nice. It was just a good trip. It was just nice to disconnect from everything that I am normally surrounded by, and just kind of have a few days to just kind of decompress and just kind of get some distance between all of it. So yeah, man, that was fun. And now we're here. Now we're back, and we're just kind of getting through it and counting down the days until the new year. And I did want to do one more episode of the podcast for the before the new year, mostly because I just wanted to do 20 episodes. I just wanted an even number to round out the year. But I thought I also should do another one. I am going to be doing more in 2024. But, yeah, things just kind of got away from me. And, I don't know. Like, with this show, I mean, you guys have known, I've been trying to change the stuff I talk about. And when you've spent so many years on the internet talking about one specific thing, I don't know. I feel like it can be difficult at times. It feels like it's difficult. I don't think it's actually difficult, because I've talked about a bunch of other things and people have responded to it, but it can just feel like I am just kind of like out of my element or whatever when I'm just talking about a bunch of other stuff that don't involve like Rangers or Tokusatsu or anything like that. So I don't know. I still get in my head about it, and it's something I'm really hoping I can be better about next year. So I did kind of want to spend tonight just kind of reflecting on this past year, because at the start of the year, this show actually did not exist yet. If you're new here, yeah, this show didn't exist at the start of the year. I think, when did the first episode come out? I have it right here. June 2nd. Yeah, so we didn't start this show until about halfway through the year. And, I've been very grateful to everyone who has been receptive to this show and the premise of it. People have DM'd me and stuff and told me that they're enjoying all the stuff I'm talking about, even if it's just a bunch of nonsense, which I appreciate. Anyone who makes stuff, they always just appreciate when someone likes the thing they did. And that's, that rings true for me always. If I'm making something like this, I'm very grateful that anyone can enjoy it. I knew I wanted to make stuff this year. I wanted to get back into doing that again, because I had missed making stuff and doing this whole thing, because my day-to-day life, without any fandom stuff or YouTube stuff, is just honestly just kind of very boring. My day job is not very exciting at all. I work for a fucking tile company. And that's another thing I'm hoping to change in the coming year. So, it's a process, but, I've needed a creative outlet of some kind, because I like doing all of this stuff. I've been doing it for so long, and I think there's a reason I enjoy doing it so much. So, starting this podcast was another way for me to just kind of, get my thoughts out there and just kind of figure things out and figure out what I like doing now. We've talked about quite a few kind of samey things. We've talked about some samey things. Some of the highest viewed episodes of the show involve like Rangers and Toku and all that stuff. And, I do kind of want to shift gears away from that type of stuff in the coming year. And I understand if not everyone wants to stick around because of that. And, I understand that's your prerogative, listen to what you want. But, especially with the hiatus for Power Rangers starting or having already started, I suppose. It just feels like a good time to just kind of like, shift focus and think, just kind of like talk about some other stuff. And I think we've dabbled in a few things, which I'm happy about. And, like talking about like Britney Spears' book and talking about like a work-life balance. We've talked about intimacy, anxiety, especially the episode about anxiety, really resonated with people. And I have heard from a few people about that. And we've just talked about some random stuff on the show so far in the 6 months or so that it's been around. And I'm happy with that. I'm happy that people are being receptive to me changing some of the stuff. But I also want to make sure people know that I am really wanting for the show to be more. I want it to be as layered as I am as a person. And I don't want it to be about just one particular thing. Because the truth of the matter is, anyway, like when it comes to like Ranger and Toku stuff, I'm not even watching like other people's stuff, hardly. I think maybe like one or two people I'm watching their stuff about Rangers and Toku, but other than that, I really don't care. I'm really kind of like laid back with it. I will catch all the news on the timeline, and I'm like keeping up with stuff very casually, just kind of when I feel like it. But just generally, it's like I don't want to cover this stuff anymore. And part of it is kind of frustrating because I feel like there's still space for me in that community, and I think a lot of people in that community still consider me part of it, because I don't think I've fully have severed my ties completely with it. But it just doesn't feel like I'm fully there. It feels like I got like one foot in and one foot out. And I could really go either way. And, just with the way things have gone the past couple years, I think I just kind of need to lean more on the side of my foot being out. I need to lean more on that side. And just kind of like, I'll keep like the Ranger and Toku stuff. I'll keep it at an arm's length for now, and just kind of, chill out on it, and just kind of figure out some other stuff, to talk about and to do. Because I feel like a lot of that stuff is just tied to negative emotions for me, and like I said, I've talked about some of this stuff on the show already. It's not like I don't need to repeat stories or anything like that. But, I've been hurt a lot by that community. And I'm still not over it. And I wish I was, because it's like really annoying, because it's been a couple years already. And I feel like I should be in a place where I'm like past it. But it's just hard. It's hard when you're a part of a community that is particularly small, and there's a lot of, I guess, overlap with friend groups. So if you talk to like, two people, there's like a 90% chance they talk to two people you can't stand, and, I don't like being the person who's going to be like, well, if you're going to talk to that person, you can't really talk to me. I don't want to be that person, because, I don't know, I just don't want to deal with it personally. So I would rather just kind of keep everyone in that community kind of at a distance and just kind of like go about things, on my own in a different community, I guess. I don't know. It's been weird trying to figure out who I want to be. And I would think I would know kind of what I want to be, but I only know like a base level of what I want to do. I just know I want to get a better job that doesn't suck, that I can like kind of enjoy, because that'd be cool. Like, I know it's like a lot of people hate their job. I don't think that's a unique experience to any degree. Sometimes for a lot of people, a job is a job. But I would really like to be in a career field, at least, where I am actually feeling like I'm contributing something important, rather than just like I'm just like a cog in a machine. And it's like I do feel like appreciated, but I know that appreciation in the job I'm at now is never going to match up monetarily, because I just work for a fucking corporation and they don't give a fuck. The people up at the top, they don't give a fuck. I'm probably going to get like $1 raise when my yearly review comes around next year. And that's going to be it, even though inflation has, risen the price of just about everything. That's probably going to be all that is. So I'm just kind of tired of it. And I even told myself when I took this job that I'm at now that I'd only be here for a couple of years, and then I'd move on and do something else, at max. I gave myself a couple years at max because I wanted to get myself reacquainted with, being back in the workforce, because I did take like almost 6 months off, kind of. And it wasn't even off because I was doing like gig work. But it's interesting. What's interesting about that, the 6 months where I was technically unemployed, and it was really just flying by the seat of my pants in terms of like, finances and stuff like that. I was doing like Uber Eats and stuff like that, and just kind of like, I was selling internet for a bit, I guess. I was a door-to-door internet salesman. That's as stupid as you think it sounds. It's interesting, like, that time in my life is so short, but I can remember it just being kind of like exciting, because it's just like tomorrow was like a new day, and I kind of didn't know what the day was going to have in store for me. Like, there was some like structure to it, especially once I got the internet sales gig, because we would be doing that at a certain time of day. But I don't know, there was just some spontaneity to it that just felt nice. It was a nice like change of pace from the monotony that I had before for like 6 years, where I was just working in a warehouse at a paper company. So a lot of my jobs that I've been with long term have been just generally very just generic and unexciting, and they're good to just like have a job, but they're not really good to like pursue a career in anything. So I'm hoping within the coming year that's something I can work on, and that's something we can work on upgrading and figuring out. But kind of shifting gears back to what I was talking about, because I kind of went on a big old tangent about that. This show, let's talk about this past year on the show. I've enjoyed everything I've talked about. It's been nice to have an outlet to talk about a lot of the things that have been bothering me in a more transparent way. A lot of us have probably heard at this point about kind of a loneliness epidemic that's kind of sweeping the world. I'm pretty sure it's a global phenomenon. I don't think it's exclusive to just the United States. But I think after the pandemic, a lot of people started feeling very isolated and stuff, and it's very easy to have those feelings of isolation. And especially like when you have large amounts of fallouts with multiple friends at the same time, it can be very isolating. And so, I've managed to make a couple new friends in the past year or so, and that's cool. But I still feel like I don't really have that community that I used to have, and I'm hoping it's something I can get back to. But it's just, I don't know. It's hard when you've been hurt so many times. It's hard to trust people again. And that's kind of my biggest thing is, like, I have a really difficult time. Like, I want to so badly to be meeting all kinds of new people, especially now that I'm doing this podcast. One of my biggest things for next year is I really want to have more guests on, because on my old show, at the beginning of it, we kind of fell into this pattern unintentionally. It was completely unintentionally, where we would have a different guest on every week. And that wasn't the plan for the show when we were making it. But it was just something that kind of happened for pretty much the first year. I don't think it was all the time, but it was a good portion of the time. We had a large amount of guests. And what I liked so much about that time was the opportunities to have conversations with people and networking and meeting new people. And that was just such a cool thing. And I think that's kind of what podcasts are for, is for like community building and network building, and just kind of like, kind of meeting people and like, sharing different ideas with each other. I think that was kind of cool. Like we would typically find people outside of our friend group that were still part of the community at large, but they were from like different sections of it. And so it was kind of cool being able to, I don't know, just have those conversations with people who saw things from a different perspective. And that's definitely an element I would like to introduce into the show more regularly in the next year. I like having a guest on. Like, I don't mind being here by myself. Even actually in this moment right now, where I'm just talking, I'm not really feeling the pressure of like the live stream right now. I'm just kind of like talking. I don't know if you could tell, because we're at a little over 30 minutes now, and I've just been talking. But like, I don't mind doing this by myself. I like doing this by myself, and I think it was important for me to try and do something like this by myself. But I think also there is a part of me that enjoys the networking aspect of podcasts and being able to meet new people. I think that's what like a lot of podcasts do. A lot of podcasts interview the same fucking people, but I would really like to try and get some different people on here in the next year. I don't know what that looks like yet. I don't even know what the fuck we would talk about, but this was kind of cool. Is like, I don't really know, but maybe we could just talk about whatever, because that's the show. I can just talk about whatever I want. So, we'll see. I need to figure out who would be some good guests to have on the podcast. If you guys have any suggestions, feel free. So, name your suggestions, and maybe I'll shoot my shot, and we'll see what happens, man. I don't mind. I don't mind being told no. So if you have an idea of a person and you're just like, oh, hey, well, you should talk to this person, well, then I'll reach out. The worst thing they can say is no. And after selling internet for like 3 months, door to door, I think I can handle being told no, because I've been told no in varying ways and attitudes plenty of times. So yeah, that's kind of like what my hope is for the next year, and I hope you guys will stick around for that, because I think it's going to be good. I'm very hopeful that the channel can continue to grow. I'm grateful for the milestones it hit this year. The channel finally hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which I'm super stoked about. It was kind of teetering on that milestone for a long time, and it finally got there. And I don't know if I have a set goal for what I want for next year, because my main priority is not really the size of my audience right now. If more people start listening to this, that's great, and that's terrific. I appreciate it either way. But my main priority right now is making the show what I want it to be, and tweaking it and refining it, and making sure it's the best thing I can possibly be making for people, because I would rather a lot of people stumble upon it when it looks the way I want to, rather than what it looks like kind of at the moment. I'm not ashamed of it or anything like that, but I know I could be making something better, and that's something I want to focus on doing better in the next year. So we'll see, man. We'll see. But yeah, I think we're going to cap it there. I'm grateful for this past year. I'm grateful for all of you listening to the show, for sticking with it. It was cool getting that little Spotify Wrapped thing for podcasters. Got a special little thing for that. And I don't know. It's cool seeing stuff like that and seeing that people are actually listening to the thing I put out and responding to it and all that stuff. And I really appreciate it. So I hope you guys never think that I don't appreciate that. And, in the coming year, we're going to hopefully be making big strides towards improving the show, talking about some cool stuff, and meeting some new people. I think that will be really cool. That's something I really want to focus on doing in the new year. So I hope you guys are ready for that. I hope you guys are excited for that, because it's going to be a good time. So we're going to end it here for tonight, guys. If you're watching this on YouTube, thanks so much for watching. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of the other podcast hosts, thank you so much for listening. And if you'd like to leave a review, please go ahead and do that, because that boosts the show and the algorithm, and we all know the algorithm is king. So thanks so much for watching, you guys. I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a good Merry Christmas wherever you're at, a nice rest of your holiday season, and a Happy New Year. I'll see you guys next year for another episode of Friday Night Chill.